that. Let's get the intro. Who are you?
There's no.
But there's always going to be new people. We need an intro and introduction.
What could be like a good
intro? Welcome back to the show. This is our host, Alex.
One of the hosts.
I don't know what the intro would be though. Like, I don't like that.
I say welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know, my name is Alex, and today we have us. And then today our topic is going to start off with solitude and relationship building, or relationships in general. And we're going to free flow it like we always do and drop some gems. Let's go. Like,
there you have it. That's it.
Oh, we're recording already? Nah.
Hold up. The intro. This is why you here.
It's always you though, so it's always you and whoever else. It's a luxury.
Huh? I see what you did right
Double
there.
entendre.
You know, it's a luxury to be here. So let's jump into it.
Well, the other day you weren't there, but we were talking about relationships and not relationships actually. It was self-care.
Yeah,
and we kind of got into the topic of meditation, and I wanted to kind of backtrack a little bit and just talk like about solitude in general. Mm-hmm. How it's good, it's bad, and how it could also be a little bit dangerous, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But for me personally, I feel that solitude is actually like it plays a big role in the self-development and self-growth of a person. Like being able to be by yourself and kind of just reflecting on yourself, it's like a really, really good thing to do, which a lot of people don't do. I mean, me personally included, I don't do that a lot, but I feel like it's important.
Why though? Like, what do you do? Like, when you want to be in solitude, like, what's that look like for you?
Well, when I do it, meditation would be one of them. So I kind of just lock myself in the room, lights off, maybe a candle sometimes, maybe just in complete darkness, and I try to just kind of meditate, reflect on what I did that day or that week, or kind of just see where I go. You know.
I think that's a good way to for like those who don't actually know. Like, well, I don't know how to meditate and I don't know how to do, and I think too much, but I think that the act of acknowledging that you're thinking all these things and noticing that you're thinking, that in itself could be a form of meditation.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you're never going to stop it. It's like standing in the middle of a road and you got traffic going this way and traffic going that way, and those are your thoughts. Your thoughts are going both ways, and you got overpass.
I got a couple crashes happening.
Right, there's like, there's roadblocks, there's everything, and then you go in there and try to stop all traffic. You're not going to do it.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with your mind and your thoughts. You're not going to do it, but you can sit there and watch everything that's going by and acknowledge that they're going by. Mm-hmm. And that's a form of, because for those who don't know how to do it, and a lot of people don't, I just don't know how to do it, and I can't stop my brain, and I get frustrated, and that's it.
Yeah,
I think there's the misconception about that too. Like, a lot of people want to like stop everything in their head. Yeah, like silent. Because there's a lot of people like, oh, if you meditate, you have to just clear your mind. Which it's good, but it should also be kind of like reflect on yourself. Like, why the fuck are you thinking like that?
It's
like,
you're controlling your thoughts, right? So like, one thing I mentioned before is that one of my friends taught me that meditates all the time, and she just said that basically meditation is a practice of letting go. Mm-hmm. Period. So like, if you're thinking if so many things are going on in your life and you're able to let some of that stuff go, then that's just basically what you're practicing doing, and then eventually you'll be able to let more and more go.
Being able to let go of like everything that's going on.
Yeah, or just one thing at a time, lightens the load.
Oh, like let go in the sense, let's say if you have like not regret, but let's say you're mad at someone because they did something and you kind of just going over it, like let go as in like, okay, well, I forgive you, or kind of let go as in like try to silence your mind.
Just like when you're actually quiet, like, so if I'm doing stuff right now I'm thinking a whole bunch of stuff, I'm looking into your eyes right now, it's just a very intimate moment, but at the same time it's like there's a lot of things going on around you, but if I'm like tuned into myself and my thoughts, my perception and the things that I'm receiving are limited to what's inside of my head.
Okay,
does that make sense? Because I'm taking in all this information around me right now, but if I'm like tuning in, then it's limited to what's there.
True.
That's true.
But I like how you said about like your way of meditating is just by analyze. That's what I meant to say. Like, you can't stop everything that you're saying.
It's
you can't
hard.
Stop everything that's going on.
When you try,
you're not. It's like you got everything. You got life in itself. You got bills. You got what do I have to do tomorrow? What do I have to do next week? This year?
Yeah.
So being able to stop and think, okay, I did this today. What didn't I do? What can I do tomorrow? What can I do better tomorrow? What can I adjust? That is a form of meditation, and that self-reflection.
I think it's scary because everyone I talk to says that it's so hard to meditate, and I don't think it's hard at all. Like, to me, like, I do, like I was saying before, I do guided meditation because I get so deep that I get afraid, like, when it's just, like, pure, like, nothingness, like, I get afraid that I'm not going to come back. So what I do is a guided meditation, so it'll bring me back spiritually, but I focus so much on the words being said that I am able to let go of everything else. I feel like I'm in tune with it. So I don't have a problem meditating at all.
There's this app, I believe it's called Headspace.
Headspace,
right? That's the one I used for a while, and it really helped.
I've never tried guided
at
meditation.
First, it was like hard to just pay attention because I was constantly thinking other things and it just wasn't working out. But as soon as like you just get relaxed, and the breathing is like the huge part of it, I think, because that's what helped me focus, and just paying attention and being aware. It was the main thing. Like that was the message that they were trying to get across. Just pay attention, be aware, pay attention. So you would sit, for example, put your hands on your lap, feet on the ground, and you would just breathe and feel that breath going, you know, all the way up and then all the way down, and just feel your body, feel your feet, your hands, everything, and then you just get relaxed. It's weird. It's weird.
It really is.
Because every piece of your body in existence deserves attention, and we don't give it attention. Like, literally, if you can like wiggle your toes around in your shoes or however they are, it feels so good to do that. But it's like, especially we don't put energy there. You know?
Especially with the shoes that we're kind of just used to now.
Yeah.
So like really narrow at the front, and you kind of like
cramped up, and we forget about that pain.
I'm moving my toes.
And we forget about the pain, right?
Yeah.
Like, why does my foot feel all cramped up in there, and why is the bottom of my foot cramping, and like all those things.
Yeah, like we ignore things every day. We ignore things in front of us every single day. Our nose is right there. We could see it, but we choose to ignore it.
Don't point that out, because then
it deserves your attention. It deserves your attention, though. But you did say something about it, like being dangerous. I can attest to that, because I honestly love being around people. Like, I don't really like solitude. Like, I don't. It's okay, but I don't prefer it. Like, before I was really bad to where, like, when I was like in a relationship, had a family, like, I would not even go to the store by myself. If I was hungry and need to leave to go get food, I would just be hungry because I didn't want to go to the store by myself. And like, I always needed to be around people to where it became disabling.
See that? That's what I was
like, and because I experienced that, which is crazy. So like, I've progressed a lot now. I could go to the store by myself now. I was told that like, if you're able, like, self-care is really like being able to go take yourself out to like dinner and whatever else hobby you want to do alone. And like, I was like, dude, I don't even think I can go to dinner by myself ever. I can't even eat by myself. And I was like focused on being able to do that. When I was finally able to like do it and just relax and just be in my solitude, like, it was so, like, it was such a great feeling. I felt like I like triumphed over that.
It feels really good.
I want to see myself doing that all the time, because like, I tend to slip into like depressions, you know, so like, I get joy with seeing people. So like, when I feel like depressed and like I'm not okay, like, I turn, and so no one would see me like that, which is odd. Because it makes things worse, you know. So if I'm getting joy with being around people, and when I'm feeling depressed or down, like, I'm just by myself, I kind of like shut off my phone. I don't want to respond to people. I don't want to see people. So it's like a scary, like, kind of trap thing to where anxiety and depression and that cycle kicks in. So like, that's how like solitude for me can get dangerous, because I'll just go for periods of time being depressed.
And that happens most when you're alone?
Yeah, when I'm alone. So, well, because I put myself in a alone solitude space because I was feeling like these negative things about myself. Like, oh, you know, like, I'm not in the right profession. Oh, like I'm injured right now. I can't even work out. Like, oh, like, I have all these bills due even, like, I don't even know how to handle it. I'm just going to cut off my phone and I'm not talking to nobody. I'm just going to, you know, if I don't have good things to say, or I'm not presenting well, or if I can't take care of the people around me financially, emotionally, physically, like, I feel like I'm no use to anyone else. So I want to be by myself until I could figure out how to climb out of it, you know?
Do you think like the friendships around you kind of play a big role, like, of you going that certain like type of solitude?
That's good. That's a good question. in my head, I know that the people around me love me no matter what state I'm in. But they're not like but also in my head, I'm just like, that's not me. That's not who they see me as.
Yeah.
It's not that I question if you guys would still like be my friends if you saw me that way, but it's still a question, if that makes sense. It's like there's a percentage that
I'm
like
not gonna let them see me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even risk it.
Right.
No, but I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think I probably asked it the wrong way. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, do you think that like certain friendships kind of force you into go into like that solitude state where you kind of let's say
they
maybe
overwhelm you,
maybe you have some stupid conversations like all the time, which
no.
I mean, I think it's healthy too to have kind of like joking and just stupid conversations.
No,
but I feel if it's always like that, they're really kind of always negative. They're kind of, oh well, you know what, you're not gonna do this, you're not gonna do that, or why do you want to do this, why do you want to do that?
That's where you gotta pay attention to who you're actually hanging around with, because if they're constantly bringing you down that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I would say kind of yes,
like
not in a
puzzle.
negative way, because like for me in my life, a lot of my friends and family go to me for advice and for help with things, and I love helping people, so I'm there for it. Appreciate it. You know, so if I don't feel like I'm adequate to give that sort of service to the people that I love, I turn myself in because I'm not capable of it. So it's not that. So I guess it would be a part of it to where like I'm thinking like, oh, then I can't be of service to the people that I love. So let me get right so I can be that person again. So it does force me into it because of the need.
It should be the other way around too.
Yeah.
So let's say maybe you start to feel alone or like, oh, my life's kind of going to shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you should have those
you
friendships
should be able
where
to turn to us.
Exactly,
but you don't.
But I don't. Because
so
and it's
blame
selfish.
yourself for that in a sense.
It is selfish because
selfish.
I'm not giving
How dare you, not
you guys the opportunity to reciprocate what I try to be there for you guys for. So it's selfish. So it's nothing to. It's more to do with my own headspace. You know.
Hey, headspace. No wonder they named it like that.
Headspace.
Yeah.
Shout out to Headspace.
Shout out.
I saw this video. It's like a little animated video, and there's this one character, and he's completely empty, right? Just clear. And then every person he comes in contact with is like filled like with darkness, and that this character would go and have a conversation, and he would take that darkness from them, and little by little by little, he became, it was like.
Go ahead, sorry.
Hey, he's definitely not clumsy. Like, he's trying to save the turtle, so he has this metal straw that knocked over this glass that he's using.
I totally forgot it was there.
So this is just a casualty of being environmentally friendly. That's all.
Yes.
So by the end of the day, this individual had helped so many people, and then just goes home by himself. And he's just sitting there, and he's filled with darkness, and he's trying to deal with it by himself. And I think that's kind of what you do. You take so much from people. You're like helping them out so much that eventually it becomes so much for you that you feel like this is your, I wouldn't say a problem.
It's a problem.
But where instead of you coming to us the same way that we would go to you, I
want to say it's a delta. We'll call it a delta because deltas are things that we can improve. So it's a delta.
So, have you been trying to open up to people?
No, absolutely not. No.
So you're recognizing it.
I don't. I think
something that you can improve on.
It's definitely something I can improve. I'm definitely a work in progress.
Because now that you mention it, I don't feel like I've ever had a moment where Kiki opens up and like. And you will.
I open up all the time, but not about my
not about your,
yeah.
So
you have, at least with me.
Yeah, so that's why I said that we shared. Yeah.
Well, you've been with him.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying before. Like, Alex and I have shared certain moments to where, like, the things I was going through were, like, only specific to me. And things he was going through were only specific to him. And we would bounce off of each other to, like, we were just having dialogue with each other. And this was, like, years ago when this first started, you know? Like, we were both, like, you know, like, I don't know, growing with each other, you know, in a sense. But I think now, like, when I'm opening up to people, it's definitely it's me connecting what you're going through to self so that I could help guide whoever I'm talking to through it. So I'll open up about some like things that I've experienced, but it's connecting to what you're going through.
Right.
So like if something's just specific to me,
right,
like I feel like certain of the things that I in like experience that kind of get me depressed, I don't really know anyone that is like kind of going. I mean, it might not be true.
Yeah, right.
Because I don't give anyone the opportunity to. I need to receive better, and I actually have pointed that out just on the women's retreat that I went to, is that like I have problems like receiving. So I'm such a giver, but like we did yoga during the women's retreat, and it was such like an amazing experience, and I was like feeling my entire body, my toes, everything in my body, and I was like, oh my god, my left side of my body is so screwed up. Like you could see it in pictures, you could see it in the video we were taking. Like I felt it, and I was like, oh my god, my left side's so crazy. And in that experience, I was talking about how like I'm such a giver, but I don't allow people to give me things. And one of the women there after talked to me one-on-one and was like, that's crazy how you said that your left side's so messed up, and at the end, towards the end, you were starting to say that you received that because your left side's your receiving side. And so like it's like starting to take form metaphysically to where my left side, not only am I not receiving things from you like or from people, like my muscles and my body's getting messed up, and that's because I'm not receiving, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So
that is crazy. Well,
retreats are like a good way for like, I mean, you're not necessarily alone.
Yeah,
you're with other people, but I think it's also like, as far as solitude, I think that's a really good like thing to do.
I think it's cool because you don't know a lot of people.
Yeah, so it's
like you're there alone.
Yeah, in a sense you're alone, you know.
Yeah. Oh. Is there anything that you guys want to do by yourself that you haven't done yet?
I think I've done, well, not everything for the most part, but like a really big thing, or like a really, big thing that I wanted to do was hiking, like alone, like go by myself, like no one else.
Yeah.
And I did it. It wasn't like a big old hike, but it was.
Oh, you did it.
I went somewhere where I knew like I wasn't gonna get lost. I guess you could say that. So in a sense, I was scared to go alone because we're like, fuck, what if I get like, something happens? But I did go alone, and it was really good.
Do you want to go again to some place that you're not familiar with?
I would. Now I would. I would take like the action of going maybe to like a bigger hike or somewhere where it might take a little bit longer, and just go through with it alone.
Dang.
And at that point, it's like your own motivation. You know, your own partner, your own.
Yeah.
I don't know. Your own fucking. Your own. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah.
You're in your own headspace.
Yeah. So there's gonna be no one like, hey, fuck, you gotta finish. I mean, if, let's say you're already halfway there, or you're gonna just finish or like climb back down.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's like you learn a lot about yourself in that sense. If you're there a little bitch, or you're gonna go through with
it. you haven't been hiking alone?
By myself, no.
And you want to?
Yeah.
When are you gonna do it?
I don't know. I have a lot of time right now, so.
Man.
You should. Everyone should.
How long?
I mean, not necessarily hiking, but anything. Let's say, like for you, maybe you were scared to go grocery shopping alone.
Yeah.
You know, but you did it, so that's good.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, like certain things that I'm afraid to do. Like I feel like I'm like, dude, this is stupid. I don't know why I'm like afraid of it, but it's like hard to shake yourself to get out of that. You know.
I hate how people shame, like if you see someone sitting there eating by themselves, they automatically assume, like, oh, look at this loner, and it's like, yeah, he's a loner and he's happy.
Yeah.
That takes a lot.
Yeah.
Especially because how we're talking, nobody's used to, and if you are, you're still here. You're connected.
Yeah.
You're connected to everybody else, or you're talking to someone on here. So in a sense, you're never really alone unless this is off. Or for example, if you felt fine going to eat or something, going grocery shopping, and you felt fine, and sometimes you forget you even got a phone, all that stuff, and I think that's a big step. Same thing, like if you want to go hiking, the grocery store is equally as brave, I think.
It really is.
I just don't like when people, especially now with social media,
talk down on it
constantly. They'll take pictures of someone who's eating alone or something, or at the park by themselves, just sitting there, and they automatically assume that they're in a negative headspace, and that's not always the case. They could be way happier than you are.
Yeah.
being in that state or being at that moment, you know.
Especially if you're there taking pictures of someone and judging them. I mean, you must have some fucked up shit in your head at the moment, you know.
Which is crazy how like the environment of solitude like allows people to judge in a certain way, because like if you see someone at the gym by themselves, like most people are like, oh, that's a beast right there. You know,
because everybody goes there with friends or something.
Yeah. Like when I see people working out by themselves, I'm like, damn, that's dope. Like, do you make your own like workout plans and shit too? Like,
yeah, I honestly sometimes I like being by myself, especially at the gym. It's just, but there's only certain people that I can actually work out with, and it's fine. Like,
I'm not one of them, by the way, because I don't show up.
Because he doesn't show up. But there's like very few that people that I've worked out with where we can just put our music on and we don't have to talk.
Yeah.
We're gonna do
What's
this.
next?
All right, that's it. Or I don't even have to tell you. We're just gonna go. We already know how much we're doing. You know what you're doing. You tell me if you need help. I'll help you out. That's it. We don't talk. Like my brother was one of them. Kevin, back in his days, before he was a dad, when he was busy, you know. He was another one that we just get to it and finish our workout, and it was like, all right, cool.
See you later. See you tomorrow. Yeah.
My brother too. We get to the gym when we used to work out together. We get to the gym. We're gonna do this. Just get through it. We don't ever have to talk, and that's fine. You're in your zone. I'm in mine, and it's great. But there's very few people that I can. And in a sense, there you're in solitude because I'm still with the person. I don't have to communicate, and I'm in my head. I'm in my zone. I'm doing my thing. I really enjoy that sometimes.
I think it depends what activity it is in the gym. Like when I'm doing cardio, do not talk to me. Like I'm already it's hard for me to get out of it. Like I'm just gonna be in my ears, you know. But when it comes to like lifting, like I like someone being like, all right, baby, you got 2 more, you know, because I'm like that, you know, like because sometimes like unless you can motivate yourself enough to know when you have more, like then cool. But I like for someone to be like, I can see you about to drop this, but I'm right here, like push one more out, you know. So I think if the conversation has to do with the activity you're doing, that I feed off of that shit.
That's good for safety. But it's like David Goggins says, and I lack that a lot. Like I need to work on that a lot. He says that when you're at the gym and you're alone, and you always have music, you already have something pumping you up. So, but what happens when that music shuts off, or you forget your headphones, or blah blah blah? It's like you have to be able to be. You guys keep talking. Hold on.
You got to be able to motivate yourself, and but you want the video
because it's the battery.
Yeah. It's not
so you said that David Goggins.
So what he says is that just being able to be alone and be like in your own mind and kind of being able to push yourself instead of having someone there. Like a lot of people do need that. I mean, I sometimes do too, because there's times where you're like, fuck, I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to fucking none of that. But we should all have that, like, that mental, like, as you say, strength of kind of just pushing yourself. Because he does a lot of like marathons, and he used to be like a Navy SEAL. So he did.
You know who David Goggins is?
Oh yeah, he tried to be Navy SEAL like 3-4 times before he got in.
Yeah, he went
so like his mentality is like I
don't listen to him that much though, because I think that like I hear a lot of trauma in his what he's saying, and like he doesn't really, I think he lacks empathy, and so it's hard to keep my attention. But I do think he's a beast.
Maybe in a sense, but as far as him kind of.
If you're watching this, like, no offense, that's just my honest opinion. Like,
but in the sense of him kind of just being like a tough fucking motherfucker, like he says, like he's really good at that.
He is,
and having that like that, I would call it like mental strength. You know, just being like really powerful, like in your own head of being able to, like
being able to tell yourself like or like what's the word? Acknowledge when you're being weak, when you're being
there you go.
when you're just being weak, when you're making excuses, you know, because it's easy to do that. Like you're on the treadmill or whatever it is, and you're running, and it's like, I'll stop at 90. I don't need to go the mile. What's that extra point 10 to get to the mile? I'll leave it out. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do this, and being able to tell yourself like, no, just fucking finish it, do it. You can clearly do it. You know, I think that's important. But I can see where people thrive more with someone around them and pushing them.
Yeah, it's definitely both. Yeah, it's important to do both. So I would when I was on my 2 days, I would do my morning workouts by myself, and then I would do the afternoon workouts with people. So I would kind of balance the both. In my head, when I'm by myself to push myself, which is crazy because it makes me wonder if I'm even really by myself. I pretend in my head that I'm competing against the person I'm supposed to be. Well, the Kiana that you're supposed to be, or the Kiki Pro that you're supposed to be, is running a mile. You're just not going to run a mile. So I think it's I make up this pretend person in my head.
You guys
that's myself.
do that?
I do.
Kind of have two of you.
Yeah.
The little bitch you, and then the warrior fucking just straight savage fucking.
I do that, especially when I'm running. That's one of those things where I have to really talk to myself. Do it. You got to do it.
I have
you did it in this. How are you not going to beat your last time? That's the way I motivate myself. For running, at least, I try to push myself as much as I can one time, right, and to where I set a bar, and I know it's going to be hard to beat that next time. I already know I'm going to probably fail at it a couple times. But that's what, when I know I'm watching the time, I'm you're not going to beat that shit. You're not. But knowing, you already did it. Why the fuck can't you? That pushes me to, you already did it. It's not someone else you're competing with, it's yourself. So why are you being a little bitch right now? Why are you slowing it down? Or, I'm just going to stop
You're trying to look for an excuse.
My leg hurts. I did leg.
But it's still kind of an external motivation because you're using time. You're using the time as how you're pushing yourself. Right. So it's the bars being the external is the time that you're setting, which so I either pretend another person is myself I'm competing against, or I also think that I have this weird thought in my head that I'm controlling my own body. I'm playing a controller and I'm okay, my body needs to do this, and I think it's so weird when I'm doing it, but it works for me. I'm just okay, you're supposed to be running this much, you're supposed to be on this treadmill, you're supposed to be this. And I think that when I give my energy to this person controlling my body, I don't feel the pain in my body as much. I don't feel my knee or my hip flexor or whatever. I'm just focused on controlling it. It's weird.
Try that tomorrow.
I do that a lot in the mornings.
Yeah.
I think everybody wakes up and they kind of want to go on their phone, lay in bed for an extra 3 hours. And you're kind of just
for an extra couple days.
Until next year. No, I do that a lot in the morning. I wake up and I sleep with my bed. Well, it's not in front of the mirror. Well, I guess technically you say
ooh, we got a mirror in front of your bed? Like that?
So it's, so my okay, let's say this is my bed. I'm laying down and my mirror's right here. So I guess it's in front of the bed, but not in front of me or whatever.
It's still it's a great angle.
That's
So I wake up and I kind of just look at myself, and then my little bitch me, he's kind of just take an extra 20 minutes.
It's dark.
Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. You need it. But then I it's okay, Alex. Lay there a couple more minutes. We'll talk. And then there's the warrior.
Get the fuck up, Alex.
Yeah, I swear. Yeah, I talk to myself. I talk to myself very vulgar. Vulgar.
You're stop being a little bitch.
Yeah,
you're fucking in the mornings. That's what
I'd be you're a fucking fat piece of shit, you pig. I tell myself the worst, and I don't think a lot of people know that. And then a lot of people say that I'm a dick in a way because the way I kind of express myself. So I'm just bro, come on, you're a little bitch, bro. How the fuck get the fuck out of here, you little fuck,
Los pesados.
But I do that to myself, and I sometimes lose the battle, and I just fuck it,
Shut up.
I do that to myself. And with working out, I like to picture myself and I'm working out, kind of just in in a dark ass space with the candle in front, and I kind of have a Dragon Ball Z fucking just uniform. You're just a battle fucking outfit. What's just fucking doing a little shit. But then
think of cartoon characters and shit.
But it's crazy. I didn't know a lot of people. I would figure out.
That's what I do. I have to talk myself out of bed. What the fuck why are you even still laying here for what? You're already up. You have to get up. You're gonna be late to whatever you got to do. Work. And eventually it's just all right, I'm home. Fuck it. Why are you sitting on your phone? What are you scrolling here? What are you getting out of this? Why are you going through this? You're not getting anything. You're just mindlessly scrolling.
It's crazy how we like talk in the, what is it, the third person?
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like you physically knows, like, okay, well, fuck, I want to be on fucking Instagram. Shut the fuck up, you know? Get the fuck up. You've been on the toilet for an hour. You know, you've been done, you know, pooping like the past 55 minutes. What the fuck? Get the fuck up, you fucking fat ass, you know?
And you know what pisses me off so bad is when I catch myself in a social media app, closing it and then going right back in it.
Bro,
if I catch myself doing that, I'm just like, I need to turn off my phone.
Yup.
Like, it pisses me off so bad.
You don't think like, what the fuck are you doing?
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like what? Like
you were on it long enough to decide to get off and you went right back on. Like, what is that?
Like you refresh it. You refresh.
Because you think there's some like, I don't know, some magical stuff's gonna happen, or like, oh,
what is it there that's
nothing.
gonna...
It's all the same.
We're waiting for everyone around us to do something.
Yeah.
Which keeps us not doing anything.
It's fucking insane.
Not crazy.
And a lot of people do that, so a lot of people don't do shit.
Yeah, because we're waiting for you to take action.
I'm waiting for you to do something. You're waiting for me.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
Are you Oscar?
Or like I set I don't know if you know how you can put a limit on your social media and all that.
Oh, what?
Oh, you can?
Yeah, you can put a...
Is that with like the screen time thingy, or?
Yeah, the screen time. You can put a passcode in it, but I would suggest you get someone else to put a passcode on it. Otherwise, you're just gonna be like, yeah, I'm still scrolling. You know? And that's what I do. That's my problem. That I have a limit on it. But it's like ignore, and it pops up, and eventually I'm like, ignore for the rest of the day. You know, and then.
Is it an app or
no? It's on your phone.
It's on.
So you can limit
settings.
Your app.
I didn't know that, but
yeah, you can limit your apps.
Wow. So I'm working on my website right now. I officially own KikiPromos.com.
Oh hell yeah!
And so thanks. Hey. And so
y'all heard that, KikiPromos.com.
So once that is like up and running efficiently. I think I spend a lot of time on social media sites because that's how people contact me for business inquiries. But if I can lead them to that and be like, hey, like, go to this website, then it'll keep me from being on social media as much. We're always connected with social media. We're always connected.
Yeah.
Like, it keeps it.
That, yes.
That's how we digress that way, because we were talking about how like you can be by yourself but be connected.
But still be connected, right? So it's kind of in relation to that. But people never really reach that full solitude. Or most people don't, because of social media, because of our phones, because we're so connected. Well, like I told you the other day, remember how before, was it you? I don't know. Point is,
I don't know.
Before we used to log out of our stuff and then come back the next day, and now we never log out of anything.
Yeah,
we're always on it because it's so easily accessible.
But I think that might have something to do with digital dementia. Where like I'm like, what is my password? You know, like we have the option now to stay signed in. We didn't have that option before, unless our screen was just up.
Right.
And so it's like, and for security purposes, I think it logged us out after a certain time, anyways.
True.
So part of the digital dementia to where like technology is like causing us to not remember as much things. That's part of the reason why like we don't have to log in anymore, which is crazy. Like I don't know anyone's phone number.
True.
I don't. Well,
True.
I know one number.
It's like
I do.
One or two.
I know one or two.
Yeah.
Before the whole phone book was in my head.
Exactly. I used to know everybody's phone number.
Is it because you guys actually put a name now, or your why? Because me personally, I actually do know.
I don't need to know it.
I do know a lot of like phone numbers because I mean,
you don't save
in
them
my
in your
profession.
phone?
I don't save like I don't really save my numbers.
Yeah.
So like I kind of know like, oh, let's say
like
1
the
2
first
3
three
4 5
numbers.
6. Okay, that's Jose, or 3 5 8 3. Oh shit, that's fucking.
But do you
Joseph.
know it from seeing it when it pops up, or can you tell me what their phone numbers are?
Both.
Okay.
So some people I could tell you
That's good.
because maybe I talked to them a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then some other people's kind of just like, fuck, the number of sense I think might be one of my clients.
We need to
And then
like unsaved names in our phones then. That's good.
Yeah,
And
because before it was just a home phone and you had to type them all in. So there was no way of saving them aside from writing them down. Then you had to remember them.
Mm-hmm.
But now we don't have to remember them.
We don't have to remember.
And even
all
now,
the things.
you know how you can set like your
Suggestive?
profile,
Oh.
and then somebody will text you, like say I don't have your number, and you text me, but you already set it in your settings. Like you put your name and your picture, so anytime you text someone that doesn't have your number, Your picture
Oh,
will
it says
pop
like
up with
maybe
your name.
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
And a suggested person.
That, it'll just come up with your picture.
Already your name.
Yeah.
Hey, that's true.
It does.
It's like, I don't even have to know
You
your
can't even
number.
pregnant one no more. Damn.
Nope. So I think we talked mostly about the negative impacts of solitude. Or
Positive too. We talked about motivation. We talked about meditation. We talk about.
What would your message be for those who don't practice solitude and are constantly feel like they have to be, or for example, you were just explaining how your goal was to be able to go to your grocery store or go eat by yourself. What would you say to those who are scared to do it, or always have to, or always feel like they have to have someone around them?
I think it's important to know yourself, and I think that from like my history of being in long relationships, like my first relationship was almost 6 years, my second relationship was the same amount of time, so I was always in a relationship, so I never really had to be by myself. But it's definitely important to be by yourself so you can learn who you are, and you can only do that in solitude. And honestly, we came here by ourselves, we're gonna leave by ourselves. Like, it makes sense to spend time by ourselves within our lifetime to know thyself,
And that's a problem, how you said, how like relationships, I think a lot of people will leave one person, but because they want that comfort and they want to feel
perfect segue,
you're sad, so it's like, I need someone to make me feel better, and I need someone, so your happiness comes from
Another person,
external sources. It's never from yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem, because it's always going to be like that. And like you said, we came in alone and we're going to leave alone. You may have people around you, but you're going to it's you who's dealing with it, not anybody else. So I think people really need to learn more about themselves, and like we had talked about in the other podcast, how you need to pay attention of why you react to certain things the way you do, and it just all ties into knowing yourself and analyzing yourself. And I think that's I know I struggle with analyzing and pointing the things out, and when I do point them out, it's like that's okay. I don't want to deal with it. It's like, I know it's there, but I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I just keep putting it off, and it stays there, and you just keep taking it with you, and it never gets dealt with. And when you are alone, you still don't want to deal with it, and then you find other things distract you. And I think that's one of my problems, like this goddamn thing. And
it's a blessing and a curse.
It is.
Because, business-wise, you're trying to, like, self-growth. Like I was saying, how solitude is really good for, like, self-growth and self-improvement. that plays a big role, too.
And just learning. If I want to know if we want to know anything, we have it at the comments. That's such a blessing.
It is.
I'm comfortable enough to be alone. Like, if I gotta go wash my car, I go wash it alone, If I gotta go to the grocery store, I go alone. If I want to go hiking, I have gone alone. So I think in that sense, when I'm trying to look for a partner, like, I know I could be alone, so if I start to see little things that I don't like, red flags, it's easy for me to kind of be like, okay, bye,
Have you ever had like a successful relationship though?
No, I haven't.
See, like,
so I've only been in one, like, an actual serious relationship that I call it relationship, that she met my parents. Jesus, I think I was a junior, so probably like 6, 7. So I think it was like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
So yeah, 8 years, damn near 7, 8 years. But there's been like a person that it should have been a relationship, but I was stupid and just that's a whole nother thing too. So.
You're like
and the trip.
I'm editing this part out.
in that sense, I don't think I was personally ready for a commitment. I think I got scared, honestly. I don't think I was ready.
I think that happens to a lot of people though. It's like you say, I want this and I want that, and then it's presented to you and you're like, whoa, I didn't mean now.
Yeah.
Like now suddenly you get cold feet and you just do something to take you away from
self-sabotage.
Yeah, you sabotage that completely.
Before, like, I knew you.
I lived down the street from him.
Literally,
Dude,
no,
2
literally.
minutes. 2 minutes.
Not even. Well,
walking. 2 minutes.
Maybe a minute.
I didn't see him for 3 years.
Fast pace over here.
Yeah.
3 years, and then so after that relationship, because that one was the one that I think a lot of the trouble comes from. After that one, it was just about me. It was about myself, and that's where I started to go hiking. I started doing all kinds of things by myself, and I remember having moments like how we were talking about earlier, where you realize like, wow, this is great. Like just sitting here doing this or enjoying this time with my friends, and it just felt great, dude. And I think a lot of people should experience that instead of when they get out of a relationship trying to find comfort within
Find yourself.
Yes,
because like
Yes.
to
Find
kind of to
Segue.
no well
Piggyback.
yeah, there you go. It's really good too because you start to actually maybe like, well, you know, I've always wanted to try this but I couldn't because I was with this person, and you actually start noticing things that you actually enjoy. Like, fuck, I didn't know I liked fucking, you know,
Going to strip clubs.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
yeah.
literally, yeah, it could be. You never know. You could open the next big strip club in the city or whatever, right? Or like me, for example, like I started getting into like photography too, and then like videography, and then like doing this, barbering, and all that stuff. It's like, I don't know, I like this. But I mean, I've always been like the type to be alone.
You have a chance to explore.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of more a little bit, yeah. And that's like
what everybody should do.
That's the good thing about it, like the whole self-growth, self-development, and
I think one big change that like I've seen you made that I think is great is that from the first relationship to not seeing anybody for like 3 years, and like you taking that break alone, like when you got into a relationship again, like I don't know if this was you were conscious of it or not, but it seems like the relationship that you were in, like it complemented you. It didn't like control you. From what I saw, it might have, like, because like you would actually bring like her around everyone.
You know what I think one of the biggest things I learned was that was one of the things I constantly thought about. How was it that the guys that I was closest to, I lived 2 minutes away from, but because she felt uncomfortable or she didn't like them because they were a certain way, like I let her control that, and I let her kind of determine who I was gonna hang around, and you know, all that stuff. And that taught me like, okay, I'm not gonna do that, because that relationship ended how it did anyways, and I did everything I could for it, but yet it went where, you know. So it teaches you, I think, and that's what it taught me. The next relationship I get into, if you don't like my friends, hey, then you're the one that has to go. It's not them. Because these are the people I hold closest to me, and they add value to my life.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get rid of these people. Like, if you don't like them, guess what?
Deja vu.
Yeah. Deja vu.
So to end this, kind of like your last words with the whole, because I feel like, I mean, we kind of went everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but it all tied in together. Like, yes,
it all ties in.
But as far as like kind of giving your opinion or your point of view, like of solitude, like how do you think that plays a role in your life?
And it's important. It's something that I need to work on delegating how I use my solitude. It doesn't need to be used to handle my problems alone. I need to open it up to my friends to be able to help me through those things. So I think my solitude could be used better to like self-care, like through like meditation or through conquering fears that I have. And I think it's important, like outside of relationships, to use your solitude to find who you are again.
What about you?
Oh, she said. I think
we should just have her go last next time, because she always just takes the damn words out of people's mouth. You're just like, alright.
What was the question again? Because
how would you wrap it up, like with solitude? How would you wrap it up? Your takeaway, like what you feel now?
I think that it's, for me, for example, I think it's something that I definitely need to work on. Not solitude. Like I can be alone a lot throughout the day, and I am a lot of times. But the one thing I need to work on is like my phone, like disconnecting, and that mindless swiping, and that's been a thing for me. Like since the beginning of this year, I like realized I'm spending too much time. Like you said, like you exit an app and then you go into the next one and they come right back, like expecting something new, but it's just something that's going on in your brain at that point. And it's just, so what I'm trying to do is like work on when I am spending time by myself and or writing down my goals, like how we had talked about, and writing or thinking about what I did throughout the day. Like I need to work more on that, and I think it's really important for everyone to take time for yourself, get to know yourself, pay attention to how you're feeling. You know, if you're feeling bad, if you're feeling good, acknowledge the good always. Something that one of my friends does every day, and he'll tag different people every day on social media, is like, name 5 things that you're grateful for.
I do that all the time.
Every day he'll go on and
day.
say, okay, I'm grateful for this, and that. Shout out Mike. And I think that's awesome, you know, that you're able to not only, because you're always going to have things that are going bad, I guess. You know, there's always going to be something going wrong or things that you're falling behind on. But acknowledging the good kind of shifts your mentality to see things like from a better perspective, I guess. And if you don't take that time to reflect on your day or your week or your month, then you're constantly just being like overloaded with all the things that you need to do that you didn't do, that, you know, all that stuff. So again, just reflecting on yourself and learning more about yourself and how to deal with those things in everyday life. So solitude is good, and don't be afraid of it. But again, learn to talk to people when needed. Don't feel like others, just because like I may not be able to relate to everything, doesn't mean that I can't help you or point you in the direction where I know a person that has gone through it. Yeah. But if you would have never opened up to me, I would have never been able to connect you to that person. Exactly. You know, so for anybody who is going through that, I think they just learning to reflect. Yeah. Like how you had told me, like, you don't understand how powerful it is to write down your ideas. Write it down. And not just keep them in there. You're just like constantly thinking. Write them down. Write it down. Constantly write them down. Read them. Like your affirmations, and you have to every night have it. I'm gonna be honest and say no, I haven't. You know. But it just once you'll be when you're ready to do that. So it was a suggestion to like write down your goals and make them plain. Like it's something that's biblical. It's something that many millionaires that talk about, billionaires say that they do all the time, is one thing people will have is a vision board, but your goal is just to write it down and make it plain. And then the Bible also says that we have not because we ask not. So if we write down every single goal that we have, we read them in the morning, read them before we go to bed, like those things will start to manifest themselves, and you'll be attracting those things by speaking it to existence, you know. I think that, and that's to not take that literal either, because I think a lot of people will do the whole
I want a 6-pack but not go to the gym.
Right. So it doesn't just happen. I think you gotta, and being more aware of it is the first step, right? So writing them down, and the way it comes into existence is because you're constantly thinking about it, and then you're acting towards it. Yeah, definitely acting towards it, but but it's the awareness that you're talking about. Right. Yeah. So that's the first step.
Yes, I think we have like 30 seconds left. So people just get out there alone and just learn to be by yourself.
Learn to be by yourself.
Learn who you are. Learn the things that you like and the things that you don't like. Because once you do that, it's life becomes a lot easier, and you become so much stronger that when you find someone that kind of like holding you back or whatever, you're strong enough to be like, fuck, I could do this myself. You know, I don't need no one else, etc., etc. So.
And happiness comes from you and not from...
Yep, happiness comes from
people
within.
Should be adding to your happiness, not be the source of it.
That's great.
Yes.